We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. Yesterday we heard Uddhav was telling to Vidur that after Krishna instructed him in before Krishna's disappearance, then Uddhav came to Vrindavan first, and then we heard, "My dear Vidur, now I am mad for want of the pleasure of seeing him, and just to mitigate this, I am now proceeding to Badrik Ashram in the Himalayas for association, as I have been instructed by him." Krishna told him, "You have to go there, there you will meet Nara Narayan." Up to this point we heard yesterday. Yatra Narayano Devo Narascha Bhagavan Rishih Mridu Tivran Tapo Dirgham Tepate Loka Bhavano. There in Badrik Ashram, the personality of Godhead, in his incarnation as the sages Nara and Narayan, has been undergoing great penance since time immemorial for the welfare of all amiable living entities. Shri Shuka Uvach Iti Udavat Upakarnya Suhridam Duhsahamvadam Gyanena Shamayat Kshata Shokam Utpatitam Buddha. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, after hearing from Uddhava all about the annihilation of his friends and relatives, the learned Vidur pacified his overwhelming bereavement by dint of his transcendental knowledge. Here in commentary, Sai Maharaj telling, Vidur was informed that the result of the battle of Kurukshetra was the annihilation of his friends and relatives, as well as the destruction of the Yadu dynasty, and also the passing away of the Lord. That is all Lila, as we heard. All this hurled him into bereavement for the time being, but because he was highly advanced in transcendental knowledge, he was quite competent to pacify himself by enlightenment. As it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, due to our long association with bodily relationships, bereavement on account of the annihilation of friends and relatives is not at all astonishing. But one has to learn the art of subduing such bereavement with higher transcendental knowledge. The talks between Uddhava and Vidur on the topic of Krishna began at sunset, and Vidur was now further advanced in knowledge due to his association with Uddhava. Here there are two standpoints. One is from the standpoint of bodily relationships. If we see like they're playing the part of sadhakas, so Vidur was bodily related to them, to Krishna and all other Pandavas, Kauravas, all. So when someone dies, then naturally you will feel separation, mourning, distress. But if someone has transcendental knowledge, then he will understand that the soul of all those persons is eternal, they are still existing, and that all these bodily relationships are anyhow all temporary. In that sense, they are illusory. So one who has transcendental knowledge, he does not mourn, he does not grieve, because he knows that that person is still existing, and a realized person, he knows, I am eternally related to Krishna. That is eternal relation. My Atma is related to Krishna. And all other souls, they're also related to Krishna. And on transcendental platform, all these mutual relationships are all eternal, with Krishna and with others in relation to Krishna. So they are not having grief. This is from standpoint of conditioned souls. With transcendental knowledge, they have no problem. Or like our Gurudev gave that example, when so many years ago, in our mat, they were doing South India parikrama, visiting holy places in South India. So they rented whole train, few those wagons for maybe like 200 or 300 devotees. So they rented and they were living in that train, sleeping and everything, going from one place to another. And if something was wrong, like Gurudev said, sometimes electricity did not work, then we repaired that, or sometimes toilet was not, and they were taking care and cleaning and putting everything nicely and everything. Then, after they returned back to Calcutta, then they took all the luggage and they went off without any problem. Why? Because they had that knowledge that this train does not belong to us. It belongs to that railway station. It is not ours. So for the time being, we were taking care of that for our use. But now when that is accomplished, then without attachment they can go. So there is no separation grief, no problem, no pain, because of this knowledge that it is not ours, it belongs to rest and we are using. Like that, if we know this body is not ours, other bodies are not ours, and we ourselves are not ours. Our Atma belongs to Krishna and others' Atma belong to Krishna. So no one is ours, and for us, all are meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. But under the influence of illusion, that false ego, we think in these terms. From false ego, then when inevitably time will take away our property, our body relations, even our body will be taken. So due to that false attachment, we get immense pain. But one who has transcendental knowledge, everything belongs to Krishna, and it is going on by his will for the benefit of all, so he has no problem with this. This is one standpoint. Another standpoint is Uddhava is a realized soul, so he can see that this is Krishna Lila going on. He's not in separation grief due to ignorance that now they are gone, means they don't exist anymore. They all died, so now they are not existing, so I'm bereft of their association, so I'm very sad. No. But because of not getting their service, he's feeling separation grief, and that is transcendental separation grief, which is not painful. It is another kind of ecstasy, and in that separation grief you get also union. So he, even in this, when you are getting transcendental separation grief, in that state you have to associate with devotees and chant Krishna's name. That will give you solace. So in both these ways, Uddhava could compose himself. Satam Mahabhagavatam Brajantam Kauravarshaba Vishrambat Abhya Date. No, Vidur, not Uddhava, Vidur. After hearing, yes, Vidur, after hearing that Krishna disappeared, all Pandavas, Kauravas, all disappeared, he pacified himself with transcendental knowledge, not Uddhava, Vidur. Satam Mahabhagavatam Vrajantam Kauravarshaba Vishrambat Abhya Dhatedam Mukhyam Krishna Parigrahe. While Uddhava, the chief and most confidential amongst the devotees of the Lord, was going away, Vidur, in affection and confidence, questioned him. Vidur Uvach. Jnanam param svatma rachah prakasham yat aha jogeshvara ishvaraste vaktum bhavan norhati yat dhi vishnor brityah sva brityartha kritash charanti. Vidur said, O Uddhava, because the servants of Vishnu, the Lord, wander in the interest of serving others, it is quite fit that you kindly describe the self-knowledge with which you have been enlightened by the Lord Himself. Those who are pure devotees, they have compassion for all jivas. It is quite natural. They have nameruchi, means taste in serving Supreme Lord. They have Vaishnav Sevan, they are always eager to serve devotees of the Lord, and they are always compassionate to jivas. What kind of compassion? They wander in the interest of serving others. They are not serving in this material sense, like giving food, cloth. This is also they may give, prasad and like this, and what is necessary they may give. But that is not full compassion. Full compassion, full service of jiva is to try to turn him towards Krishna, means to help him describing self-knowledge that you are actually eternal servant of Krishna. You are not this body, you are misidentifying and you are thinking these are my body relations and all these things, they will enlighten us about our real self and why we are in this world, why we have to suffer, how we can rectify this. So that is their service to all jivas. They will explain, giving them spiritual welfare, not only material welfare. That is anyway temporary. It is for the time being. It will not solve all the problem. But they want to wake up us from this dream so that we can fully come out, to remove the cause of afflictions, not only to remove some symptoms, but to remove the original cause, why we are in this world, why we have to suffer. They will explain and they will show us the way how we can correct that. So it is quite fit that you kindly describe the self-knowledge with which you have been enlightened by the Lord Himself. Some are enlightened by Krishna, like Brahma or Uddhava. Then by Guru Parampara, that comes to us. Guru or pure devotee, they will enlighten us. And once we attain enlightenment, we become awakened soul, then it will also be service to Krishna and to our Gurudev. It will be to help other jivas to wake up. It is not out of false ego, it is out of compassion, and it is not for any worldly things like I will give you mantra, I will give you this teaching if you give me 1,000 euro or 10,000 euro, or if you will give me like no, they are really without any self-interest. They want to serve that jiva without demanding or expecting anything in return, especially not any worldly things. If someone offers something, they will use that for the service of Krishna in complete way, That also includes if the devotee needs something like for his own bodily maintenance, but he's anyhow offered fully to Supreme Lord. So that is also service to Krishna. He will accept only as much as necessary for him to go on with the service of Krishna. So that is also engaged in the service of Krishna. They will never misuse anything given to them by someone voluntarily, but they will never charge or request or demand something. No. Purely they will just give for the welfare of that, because by that Krishna will be pleased. It is one kind of service to Krishna. If some lost child is brought back by some person to his mother, then mother will be happy. So devotees, they try to do this. They try to bring jivas to Krishna to please Krishna. And it is also compassion to that brother and sister. Uddhava Uvach. Nanute tattva samradhya rishih kausharavantike shakshat bhagavatadishto martya lokam jihasata. Sri Uddhava said, you may take lessons from the great learned sage Maitreya, who is nearby and who is worshipable for reception of transcendental knowledge. He was directly instructed by the personality of Godhead while he, means Krishna, was about to quit this mortal world, means disappear from this world. He also taught Maitreya. Or Arjuna also was taught by Krishna directly. It can happen. Krishna acting as Guru. Or those who were enlightened by him, they will act as Guru and they will enlighten others like this. Mahaprabhu made so many when he went to South India by embracing them, giving them prem in heart and telling them you chant Harinam, they became immediately pure devotees. And they made other devotees in that village. And those who were made devotees, they also made others, and like this it went on. And there was that Kurma Vipra, one Brahmin in South India. Mahaprabhu stayed in his house and that devotee was serving him nicely. Then the devotee was feeling separation grief from Mahaprabhu when he was departing. So he said, let me go with you. I cannot remain without you. Then Mahaprabhu said, no, don't go with me. It is my order. You stay here, and on my order you become Guru, and you preach here, Nama Sankirtan. You deliver this, you rescue these fallen souls by preaching to them this chanting of holy name. And in this way, you will have my association. Because when we follow the instruction of Krishna or Guru, then through that following, we are actually associating with them. We are getting that transcendental bliss. Not by mere physical proximity, but by serving attitude. Our Gurudev gave that example. In the beginning, when he joined the mat, the temple, he saw one old Babaji, Gokuldas Babaji was his name, in Chaitanya Mat. He was chanting Harinam all the time, and he was very old, so he was lying down on bed, and in that bed there were many bugs, and they were sucking his blood, or like insect, like this. And Babaji Maharaj, because he was Paramahamsa, he was fully realized on transcendental soul platform. He was not bothered by that. So he did not do anything. So now the question is, these bugs, they are very close to devotee, physically very close. But are they really associating with him, having sadhu sangha? No, why not? Because sadhu, he's thinking how to serve Krishna and always thinking of Krishna's lotus feet and serving and all this. That is his thought and activity. But though bugs are very near to him physically, but what is their thinking? How to suck his blood. So they're not getting actually the association of devotee. But if someone from far away follows the thought follows the Atma Vritti, means the activity of the soul of that devotee from far off, then he is actually associating with that devotee. Or by following the instruction of Guru or Krishna, one is actually in his association. He will feel transcendental bliss and also presence of Supreme Lord there. So here we may see that sometimes directly instructed by Krishna, sometimes Krishna orders his pure devotees, you enlighten others. Shri Shuka Uvach. Iti saha vidurena vishwamurter guna kathaya sudaya plavitoru tapa kshanam iva puline yama swasustam samushita upagavir nisham tatogat. Shukadev Goswami said, O king, after thus discussing with Vidur the transcendental name, fame, qualities, etc., on the bank of the Jamuna, Uddhava was overwhelmed with great affliction. He passed the night as if it were a moment, and thereafter he went away. He was feeling that separation grief from Krishna. Then outwardly that seems like affliction, but inside there is transcendental bliss. So then he followed instruction and went to Badrikashram. Rajovach. Nidhanam upagateshu vrishni bojeshu adirata yutapa yutapeshu mukyah sa tu katham avashishta udavoyat dharir api tatyaja akritim triyadi shaha. The king inquired, at the end of the pastimes of the Lord of the three worlds, Shri Krishna, and after the disappearance of the members of the Vrishni and Bhoja dynasties, who were the best of the great commanders, why did Uddhava alone remain? Shri Shuka Uvach. Brahma Shapa Padeshena Kalena Mogha Vanchitaha Samhritya Svakulam Spitam Tyakshan Deham Achinta Yat. Shukadev Goswami replied, My dear king, the cursing of the Brahmanas was only a plea, but the actual fact was the supreme desire of the Lord. This we will hear in 11th canto, how the sadhus, they cursed those boys because they joked with sadhus improperly. But it was actually the desire of Supreme Lord. He inspired all that, so that this disappearance lila will happen for all. He, means Krishna, wanted to disappear from the face of the earth after dispatching his excessively numerous family members. He thought to himself as follows: Asmal lokat uparate mai jnanam mad ashrayam arhatyudava evadha sampratyatma vatam vara. Now I shall leave the vision of this mundane world, and I see that Uddhava, the foremost of my devotees, is the only one who can be directly entrusted with knowledge about me. Nodhavo noapi man nyuno yat gunair narditaha prabhu ato mat vayunam lokam grahayan iha tishtatu. Uddhava is not inferior to me in any way, because he is never affected by the modes of material nature. Therefore, he may remain in this world in order to disseminate specific knowledge of the personality of Godhead. As Supreme Lord is transcendental, beyond these three gunas, spiritual fully, his pure devotees also, they are beyond these three gunas, fully spiritual, in their swarup. They are situated in their own transcendental eternal form. They are on that platform. So in that way, they are non-different. Guru is one with Krishna. Both are transcendental. So Krishna thought he should remain in this world for the sake of giving knowledge about me. He is not bound by this world, although staying in this world. Like in prison house, there are prisoners, but that king, he may sometimes visit prison. He is inside prison, but that does not mean that he is prisoner. He can release all prisoners if he wants by his that mercy. Or jailer also is in prison. He is employed there. He is also not prisoner. So like that, pure devotees, when remaining in this world, or Krishna when remaining in this world, they can rescue others from illusion, wrong perception of who they are and what is their necessity, all this. So Krishna thought, now I will live, so I will keep Uddhava here so that he will give that transcendental knowledge. That is Guru Parampara. Like our Gurudev said, someone will be here, someone will be there. From that Guru Parampara, pure devotional Guru Parampara, someone will be here. Maybe not in great numbers, sometimes there are more, sometimes less, but someone will be here. Because Krishna is always taking care of those jivas who gathered enough sukriti and they are to be guided towards Krishna. So Krishna either himself comes to help that jiva, or by such pure devotee guru, he will guide them. So there is no cruelty on part of Krishna. He is always merciful, but it is we who don't want him. But immediately when one desires eternal welfare, Krishna will make that arrangement for his guidance. Like Dhruva, he was calling on the advice of his mother, he was calling God. And God knows everything. So immediately he sent Narad Goswami to him, and Narad Goswami gave him proper procedure how he can attain Supreme Lord. Krishna sent him, and Narad then gave that process which will be accepted by Krishna. And if Dhruva will do that, as he did, he attained the goal. So always there is, or that Brahmin who was mentally serving Narayan with devotion. He had no money, so he could not afford the articles, rice and that. But he had pure devotion. So mentally he offered kheer, rice, milk, everything first class, best quality, and on golden plate and golden pot. He was offering mentally, and Krishna knew this. Means Narayan in Vaikuntha knew that he is my pure devotee, so he sent Garuda, his bird carrier. You bring that devotee to me, to Vaikuntha. So always, Krishna is always merciful, but it depends on our side, whether we are really eager to serve him or not. If we are, then Krishna will make arrangement. So this is also it is by Krishna's will that all others disappeared with him except Uddhava, because Uddhava will preach here in this world. He appointed him, like Guru will appoint his successor. Or sometimes it is not like appointed by word, but Guru is self-effulgent. self-revealed. One who is pure devotee, realized soul, he will naturally do that service for Krishna. And he will be recognized by other pure devotees and by those jivas who have enough sukriti. They will realize he's a personal associate of Krishna, so I will surrender to him. I will serve Krishna under his guidance. Like our Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he did not mention any particular name who will be Guru after him. Did not mention. He said many are qualified. So gradually, one by one, they were revealed. They manifested. His disciples, they manifested as acharyas, as gurus. Evam triloka guruna sandishtah shabda yonina badar yashramam asadya harim ije samadhina. Shukadev Goswami informed the king that Uddhava, being thus instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of all Vedic knowledge and the spiritual master of the three worlds, reached the pilgrimage site of Badrikashram and engaged himself there in trance to satisfy the Lord. Trance means samadhi. That is transcendental meditation on transcendental platform. You get that direct vision of reality as it is. Viduro pi Uddhava chrutva Krishnasya Paramatmana Krira Yopata Dehasya Karmani Shlagitani Cha. Vidur also heard from Uddhava about the appearance and disappearance of Lord Krishna, the super soul, in the mortal world, which is subject matter sought after with great perseverance by the great sages. Here in commentary, the subject matter of the appearance and disappearance of the super soul, Lord Shri Krishna, is a mystery even for the great sages. The word Paramatmana is significant in this verse. An ordinary living being is generally called the Atma, but Lord Krishna is never an ordinary living being because he is Paramatma, the super soul. And this difference is eternal. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetanam. He is one eternal among many eternals. He is one conscious among many conscious. He is the one who is fulfilling all the desires or needs of those who are many. So this is eternal difference. It is not that now I am bound with illusion and I will chant Soham, Soham, Soham. When I will cross over this Maya illusion, then I will become God. That is not true. When you will come out of Maya, then either you will merge into that Brahma Jyoti and you will not feel any difference, but still you are eternal servant of Krishna. You will not be fulfilled there because that relationship is not fulfilled. So again they will fall down, or due to false pride that I am independent or I am supreme, because of that offense also they will fall down. But reality is, by the grace of devotee, he can understand that I am eternal servant of Krishna and devotion to him is eternal. So never there is a time when Atma will become Paramatma. There is no difference. Mayavadis, they say like this, but it is not true. Not according to Shastra. They are misinterpreting and not according to reality. So by the grace of Krishna or his pure devotee, one can realize this. So here, yet his means Krishna's appearance as one of the human beings and his disappearance again from the mortal world are subject matters for the research workers who execute research work with great perseverance. Such subject matters are certainly of increasing interest because the researchers have to search out the transcendental abode of the Lord, which he enters after finishing his pastimes in the mortal world. But even the great sages have no information that beyond the material sky is the spiritual sky, where Sri Krishna eternally resides with his associates, although at the same time he exhibits his pastimes in the mortal world in all the universes one after another. So here great sages does not mean pure devotees. Great sages means those rishis. They are knowledgeable in Vedic, that karma, Kant, and about this world and karma, all these things, but not pure devotees. They have no information about transcendental realm. So here, as I told a few days back, Shri Krishna eternally resides with his associates in his transcendental realm. Although at the same time, he exhibits his pastimes in the mortal world. Krishna can be in many places at the same time. Actually, he's everywhere, all the time. He's omnipresent. He can expand himself, and he's doing so many leelas in so many ways, so many forms, and those eternal leelas and leelas in relation to this world, he's creating, maintaining, destroying, appearing in this world, helping jivas. All this he's doing. This fact is confirmed in Brahma Sanhita, Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhuta. The Lord, by his inconceivable potency, resides in his eternal abode, Goloka, yet at the same time as the super soul he is present everywhere, in both the spiritual and material skies, by his multi-varieties of manifestation. Therefore, his appearance and disappearance are simultaneously going on, and no one can say definitely which of them is the beginning and which is the end. There is no beginning and there is no end. That is the point. His eternal pastimes have no beginning or end, and one has to learn of them from the pure devotee only and not waste valuable time in so-called research work by material experiment and observation with these material senses, limited material senses and intellect, all this, all temporary and limited. How you will understand eternal truth? Impossible. There is another process to attain. You remember when they were in India during the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. They were observing Janmashtami festival, means appearance day of Krishna, for 1 month. 1 month before already they started with different programs every day. Then Janmashtami will be main event, and then next day also that feast for all. Then it will finish, but 1 month before. So many dignitaries, they were invited to come to speak something in those meetings, big personalities, and to hear the Harikatha of sadhus, and many people will come, and prasad distribution, all this was going on. So there were some students of world-renowned scientists who got Nobel Prize. You can see on Wikipedia, Dr. C.V. Raman. He invented something, and for that he got Nobel Prize in science. So his students, they requested Prabhupada, means Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, why our teacher was not invited. He's world famous. He should also be invited. Then Prabhupada said, yes, I have no objection. We will invite him. Then he sent our Param Gurudev. That time he was Brahmachari, Hayagriv Brahmachari, but he was fully surrendered to Prabhupada. Whatever service Prabhupada gave, he did immediately, and always successful. If Prabhupada gave him some service, then he left that thing without any worries. He knew if I give him some service, that is the same as already done. So he was with another project. He knew, so confident in our Parangurudev, and Parangurudev is so competent. Why? Because fully surrendered to Prabhupada as his instrumental. So he sent Parangurudev to this Dr. C.V. Raman, and he was taken to that laboratory where he was engaged in that research work. He met him and he humbly requested him, "We are from Gauriya Math and we are observing this festival of Krishna's appearance. So you please come and join our program and you speak some words." Then he challenged him, that Dr. C.V. Raman, "I don't believe in your Keshtu Bishtu." This is like disrespectfully said in like a slang or short language, that Krishna Vishnu. In simple village like language, if very quickly, so he said, "I don't believe in your Keshtu Bishtu. So I will not go. I have no time to waste. What I cannot see, that does not exist. If I cannot observe by my these senses, all this, that is all fictitious. I don't believe. So I will not waste my time. Can you show me your God?" He challenged. Then Parangurudev said, "Actually, it was your students who wanted that you should go there. That is why I came here on the order of my spiritual master to invite you. So you kindly accept this invitation." Then that Dr. Siraman said, "If you can show me your God, then I will go. Can you show me your God?" Then Parangurudev saw that in that laboratory, one side was wall without window, and beyond that wall was northern Calcutta. So Parangurudev asked him, "If I say nothing is beyond this wall, just because I cannot see beyond this wall, would that be true? I don't see anything beyond this wall. I see only up to wall with these eyes. But if I say there is nothing beyond that wall, would that be true?" Then that scientist said, "You don't waste my time. With some instruments, I can even see through this wall. I can see what is there." Then Parangurudev said, "Yes, but even those instruments, they have some limitations. You must know about that. So if we say that beyond those limitations, nothing is there, would that be true?" Then again, this scientist said, "You don't waste my time. Can you show me your God? If you show me, then I will accept and I will come." Then Parangurudev said, "If your students, those who are eager that you should be invited, would say to you, first you show us what you discovered by your scientific research. First you show that to us, then we will study under you." Then that Dr. Mann, he said, "No, that is not possible. Because first they have to finish their study in physics in that normal course up to master degree. After that, when they have that knowledge, after that they will have to study with me for 5 more years to be able to understand what I discovered. Otherwise they cannot. They would have to go through this process of education or learning. Then they will be able to perceive or understand what I discovered or what I invented, for what I got Nobel Prize." Then Parangurudev said, so can not the Indian saints, realized souls, say the same thing to you? You follow the process given by them and you will see God, not with this material eyes, but with your transcendental spiritual eyes you can see God, but there is a procedure how to come to that realization. So they also say the same thing. Follow that process and see. So before you are a scientist, before you made such experiment and observation by not following this process, how can you deny that nothing is there? If you would make that experiment and process observation through that process and there is no result, then you can say there is no God. But before doing that process, how can you say there is nothing? Then Parangurudev did not say this, but I'm saying, so in one sense, Parangurudev told him, you are also a believer in something which you cannot prove. Because you are blindly believing there is nothing before even accepting the process by which that thing is revealed. So, but because Parangurudev is realized soul, he spoke to him because Parangurudev followed that process and he got realization, so he knows. He can speak about that thing. So he explained to him in practical way, and that touched that Dr. C.V. Raman. Then he became silent. Then he said, actually, I don't know about Krishna and this, so if I will go, what I will speak, and like this. So then he became humble. I don't know if then he went or not, but the point was, Parangurudev made that point to him. How you can deny unless you try first? That is scientific process. You have to do experiment and observation. So you did not experiment with this process. So you do and see God. So here, Sai Maharaj is telling in commentary, his eternal pastimes, means of Krishna, have no beginning or end. Even this creation lila, no beginning, no end, because Mahavishnu is eternal. His breathing is eternal. His Maya potency is also eternal. Sometimes manifest like a tree, sometimes coming into seed form, and then again coming into tree, and again seed like what was before, tree or the seed. Nothing was before. It is going on. It is onadi, beginningless. So there is no beginning and no end. It is eternal. And one has to learn of them, of these pastimes, lila of Krishna, from the pure devotee only. Why? Because pure devotee realized that in proper way. What is that in truth? And he also knows how to explain and by what process we will be able to understand and realize those things. No one else can do this. One who has 100 euro, he can give to others. If he does not have, how he can? So one who realized Krishna Lila, he can explain, he can give the process. So one has to learn of them from the pure devotee only and not waste valuable time in so-called research work by material senses. That is so-called research work by material senses and by intellect. You will never come to realization of Krishna or reality as it is, everything, how it is. Never, impossible. Because these senses are limited. Mind, intellect also limited, and they are temporary. You cannot perceive eternal truth by this, but eternal truth exists, and we all want that. No one wants to die, no one wants to be ignorant, all want to be happy, we all want. But we are not accepting proper procedure. When you accept proper procedure, then you can realize, you can taste directly. Deha nyasam cha tasyaivam dhiranam dhaurya vardhanam an yesham dushkarataram Pashanam Viklavatmanam. The Lord's glorious acts and his acceptance of various transcendental forms for the performance of extraordinary pastimes in the mortal world, those are avatars, are very difficult for anyone other than his devotees to understand. And for the beasts, they are simply a mental disturbance. And the time is over, so tomorrow we'll hear. I want to read this commentary. Here he is telling Sai Maharaj that point which I was remembering. Those who are not devotees are advised not to discuss the Lord's appearance and disappearance, lest they commit further offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord. The more they discuss the transcendental appearance and disappearance of the Lord or some other particular pastimes, in the Asuric spirit, means in that demoniac spirit with challenging mood, the more they enter into the darkest region of hell. Yes. So tomorrow we will further hear.